said, the quorum isn't present. Thank you. So this is our February 2024 EAC meeting. As Shelley said, we don't have a quorum present yet, but hopefully we will as people join. So are we able to discuss public comment? Do we have public comment today?
We have a member of the public present, but no comment.
Hi, David. Thanks for joining us. And here comes Bill.
So now you'll have quorum and you can just keep on rolling.
Okay. Welcome, Bill. Welcome, Anne. We were just starting the meeting. So the approval of our January 2024 minutes. Does anybody make a motion to approve them? Does anybody have any changes that they wanted to discuss before we approve them?
I'll move that they be approved.
Do we have a second? Can I second them?
It should be, you can if nobody else does.
Okay.
The chair should try to abstain from making motions or seconding motions.
Thank you, David.
I'll second.
Thanks, Bill. Is everyone in favor? Is anyone opposed?
Yeah, just call the vote for yes or no.
Awesome. So our meeting minutes were approved unanimously. Thanks for being gracious with me all as I start this new role. So next we have our staff updates. We have Ryan and Bethany here. I think that might be all of the staff.
Ryan, do you want to go first?
I'll go first. We have a cleanup that's coming up for 2nd and Penn to 11th and Penn on Cherry and Court also. It's sponsored by Manny Guzman and the mayor of the city of Reading. We're going to be painting all the lines, the handicap lines, all the yellow, and also, and I think it's important, is the loading zones, the green, updating the green on all 3 of those roads coming in and going out of the city. Also, you have the Great American Cleanup coming up also on April 20th.
When is the Penn, Cherry and Court Street one?
March the 30th.
Okay.
I do have the flyer. The flyer was just updated today. I do have a flyer for that. Also, Great American Cleanup is on the 20th, followed by Earth Day. I'm sure Bethany will discuss Earth Day. And as Sarah alluded to, the show, we was going to take the show last week, but it was some stuff going on at Alvernia. The power had went out, but I think we're actually going to tape it today, and the topic is actually we're going to be talking about dams, the importance of the removal of dams. I did some research. I discussed it with Sarah, and she think it'd be good for a good show. So we'll be doing that today. I did go by the park down there on 2nd Street, across from the college, and it's pretty clean. There are leaves, right? But where the leaves are at, the leaves could stay because we don't need to go messing with the leaves. They're okay where they're at. They're not all scattered around. So it's pretty clean.
Ryan, let me just speak to the dams because neither you nor Sarah probably know how long we've been, the EAC has made dam removal a priority. Because it's been, we were pushing as much as about 9 years ago for the removal of some of the city's dams, and even before DEP was forcing them to, especially the one on the Tully. So it's great that you're going to have a program on it because I think it's timely, and we understand that some of them are really moving forward now.
Okay.
So that's great.
Thanks. But that's all I have on my end.
Okay. I have quite a bit of dates on the calendar to update everybody on. Let's see. Next Keep Writing Beautiful meeting is on March 8th at noon. And would like to remind everybody to get your Super Neighbor awards in. I will put the link to the jot form in the chat. I did get notice this morning from our EPA Exide team. We are having another community meeting on March 13th at 6 p.m. up at Muhlenberg High School again. Shelley shared out the flyer earlier today to everybody. It'd be nice to have a lot of us there if possible.
What's it again?
March, it's 6 p.m. on Wednesday, March 13th.
13th, okay. Sorry.
Hi, puppies. And then we have the climate action plan presentation training here at Public Works on Thursday, March 14th. Let me double check the time did we set that at. For anybody who'd be interested in doing that, we're figuring kind of 5 to 7. But if you can't get here right at 5, just let me know. I will provide pizza or something to eat. And that is so that way people are trained to go out and do the presentation to other groups, kind of expand our capacity out.
Yeah,
Another,
I'm sorry,
go
is
ahead.
that at Public Works?
That is going to be at Public Works.
Okay,
And this came up at our meeting. Public Works is at 12. No, never mind.
503
Go
North
ahead,
6th Street. Anybody who wants to attend, just let me know and I will send you an invite with the correct address on it. Another project that I'm involved in is the Legacy City neighborhood strategic plan for South Reading. We are doing some focus groups coming up in March and April. The first 2 dates are at 6 p.m. at Tech Centro, which is March 11th and March 28th. And then the third one will be at the Reading Public Library at 11 a.m. on April 13th, which is a Saturday. It would be nice to have a member or two of the EAC there, even though nobody's directly living in that neighborhood, but to help with some of the environmental things as well.
Can you just go through the particulars again, Bethany? Sorry.
It's the Legacy City neighborhood strategic plan.
Right.
Focus group meetings.
So
And that's focused on South of Penn area.
right, but the location and times.
The March 11th and March 28th is at Tech Centro on South 6th Street. And those are both at 6 p.m. And then the third one is April 13th at the Reading Public Library main branch at 11.
Are they all, each one of those, are they the same session 3 times or they're all?
They're going to be different topics. They're each going to be a different topic. And I don't know the topics, which topic we're doing at which meeting yet. March 16th, which is a Saturday, PASA and Tanya Melendez from 18th Wonder is doing a seed saving workshop to learn how to save seeds from gardens. And that will be held at Masano, down at Masano's. And I can make sure that Shelley has the link if she doesn't already to share.
I believe I did share that out either
Okay.
last week or yesterday.
Okay. So that will be in the morning. And then in the afternoon, down at Lucky's Lane, which is 339 South 7th Street, we will be doing a garden work day and neighborhood cleanup. And we're going to start that at 2 p.m. There's a bunch of us that are doing the Seed Saver workshop first. We'll go to lunch and then we'll do Lucky's Lane. 13th and Green, which is one of the elementary schools, they are doing their school carnival on May 13th. I believe Ryan has already signed up to go, but it's an opportunity to do tabling and outreach as well. If anybody is interested in doing that. And then this is a save the date from Berks Nature. They are going to be doing a return on environment lunch for municipalities, including the EACs on Saturday, June 6th, or I'm sorry, on June 6th. I'm not sure, which is a Thursday. It will be a luncheon type presentation. I don't have many details yet. And then I do have another, so that's all of the fun things in addition to Earth Day, which is Saturday, April 20th. And for anybody who is interested in signing up as part of their own organization or business, the sign up sheet or the sign up forms are at earthdayberks.org. And then all the directions are there on how to sign up as an exhibitor.
As an exhibitor, as an exhibitor or for the Great American Cleanup?
Great American Cleanup can go to Ryan, and we do have a jot form being set up for him. I have to double check with where that's at. We've had some major IT issues the last week. So if we haven't gotten back to you on a particular email, please bump it back up to the top of our inbox. We're still getting back online. But I did get some updates on the solid waste Clean and Green Reading ads that are currently streaming on Comcast in the city. And our completion rate, which is the percentage of people who watch the whole commercial, is at 93%.
Wow.
And so far,
I just seen one for the first time. I seen it. Me and my wife.
Okay,
was watching
good.
TV. Yep.
We have nearly 80,000 views as of 11:30 this morning.
Oh, cow.
So they've been running now for 2 weeks.
That's awesome, Bethany.
It's I've got to say, it's the best $2,000 I've ever spent. Like, it's amazing. I'm like, so hopefully we'll kind of help. We'll be using that to frame a different attitude. Our next commercial is being produced right now, and that is going to be for the Great American Cleanup and Earth Day. And then the third one will be for kind of a what goes where, good set outs, how to utilize the curbside pickup services for special collections. And
Where is
I'm
this?
gonna pause.
Where is this?
The what?
Where you got 8,000 or 80,000 views?
We have a commercial that is streaming on Comcast. So
Comcast. Okay.
yeah, so City of Reading's cable TV. So on the TV and then like on devices for streaming. So we're doing certain cable TV channels and then certain sporting events. So we were in the Slime Bowl on Nickelodeon for the Super Bowl. So we were in their coverage. And I did hear a couple of kids tell me that it was cool that we had a commercial in the Super Bowl. And yeah, so we're getting out there, but we are very gated to the city of Reading. And then for sporting events, we're gated to Berks County, and it is just Comcast that we're running it through. So far so good.
So like piggybacking on that conversation about commercials, Kathy, maybe you can remind me of the commercial that was done at the Schuylkill Action Network conference, where Marty Moscowane was a speaker. But they were trying to figure out ways to distribute it. Like they really hadn't nailed that down yet, but they created this commercial.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the
Do you
details.
remember what it was?
I don't remember the details. I remember
Do
they
you
did
remember
one.
who at SAN is kind of in charge of it?
No, it was a presenter at the SAN annual conference, and they created this commercial, and it was, you know, informational about whatever they were working on. I can't even remember what it was, but it was very effective as far as, well, apparently not quite effective enough because I don't remember what it was about. But it was so well done. And they had this speaker on that, you know, she had a well-known voice, and you know, it was like the person doing the narration in these commercials is really it's nice thing to have a professional do it, like Marty Moscowane. And they were asking them how they got Marty Moscowane to do it, and they said they just asked her, and she did it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, like something to think about. But it was so well done, and you know, in part because they had this professional speaker.
Yeah. And then the commercials are also running on BCTV at no charge to the city. So we are running them there as well.
Really cool. Thanks, Bethany. Do you have anything else?
Bethany, I have on my calendar for the 18th, Monday, March the 18th, that rescheduled Republic landfill tour. What's the status of that?
I need to double check that with Steve. I believe we are going back to, that is the planned date. I just need to confirm it with Steve.
Okay.
So keep it as your hold.
Yep. All right.
Thanks, David, for bringing that up.
Maybe you could rent a van and we could just go from one event to the other. It seems like it's a full calendar. Great.
Scott, did you have any updates?
I don't. We've been down like everybody else, so we're still trying to catch up.
Perfect. Thanks, everybody. So that's it for staff updates. We can move forward to old business. Hi, Jim, welcome.
Hello, I've been here just kind of incognito with my camera off.
Yeah, no problem at all. So for old business, we have signage and rain garden installations. Do we have any signage updates? I know we were talking about the invoicing. I did all of that clear and go okay last month.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so one thing I have a question about, we do need a permit to install it at Mimos once it's constructed. So how should we proceed with that? I guess the question is for Shelley.
So you'd have to follow the regular process through zoning for signage.
Okay. I think I found some, like an old application in my files pertaining to that. It's probably the same, but I don't know.
I wouldn't presume, depending on how old it is.
Oh,
The new
Bethany's
one,
shaking her head now.
The
Okay.
new ones, go to the website. That's everything is updated there regularly.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a new process now. which hypothetically is going to be easier and more streamlined. But we are still working out kinks. So when we get to that point, we'll do it together so we all learn.
Yeah, so relating to the actual construction of the sign and production of it, the consultant, Dean Morse and Dean Services, Dean Advertising, I guess is their name. Part of the contract was for them to help us find appropriate local vendors and help sort out what we need in sizing and all of that sort of thing. So we aren't there yet because we don't have all the signs drafted yet. I'll check back with Dean to see how that's going. Because I haven't heard in a couple weeks now, and he should be working on the next graphics for the other categories.
Awesome, Kathy.
Yeah, having completed, just so everybody knows, so he completed the first one, which was tree trenches, and that one is going where appropriately where Anne designed tree trenches at Mimo's restaurant. And so that first one, that's what we wanted to do, that one, because they've been waiting 3 years for their sign since we asked them if we could put a sign, an educational sign in their parking lot at the tree trench, one of the tree trenches there. So then there's 7 more designs to be done, or 7 more designs to be done to capture everything. And the next ones will be, I think, green roof, and I can't remember which order we had them in, whether it's porous pavement or rain garden, but it's one of the others. But having done the one, we don't think it's going to be too long. He felt that once he had the style and design and knew what we were looking for and where to put the text and how much text, that the others will go quickly.
Mhm.
This is great. I'm excited.
Yes.
I can't wait to have them on the
It's a
city.
long time coming.
Yes. But hopefully worth the wait.
Yeah, and I believe, like, I was tasked with doing a spreadsheet with the BMPs, which I have not done yet.
Mhm.
That's gonna go on the website, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
it'll be used to inform our website map. Yeah, no worries, Anne.
all right.
That's what, April GSI meeting, so there's time. What about the rain garden installations? Any updates on those, Scott or Kathy? No.
I other than they're supposed to be done this year, the ones up in the 19th ward, I haven't gotten any updates on Tim on construction schedules or anything like that yet.
Okay,
But they are on the schedule for this year.
exciting, cool. 2024 is a good year.
It is.
What about the brownfields database? Do we have updates on that?
So the only update I have is that now the city has hired a planning manager. So I have to start all over at the beginning of my process with employee review.
Oh, Shelley.
There are at least 2 of us though who are going up to the Brownfields conference
Okay.
up in State College in March. Myself and Helen Ramos, who is our risk and safety coordinator, and I think Chris Geltz from community development was also planning on going. We are talking to the EPA Brownfields program technical assistance partner, which is West Virginia University, to get assistance on getting on applying for funding to build out a database and get phase 1 studies done.
That's wonderful. Thanks for all your work on that, Bethany and Shelley. The 2024 Great American Cleanup and Earth Day, we mentioned that. I'm so excited. So just to confirm, there's no online sign up form for the cleanup. Right? Will there be?
There should be, the, webmaster was working on it for us, and then, we had our issues with our connectivity throughout the city, last week. So I will, now that we're almost back up online, I'll make sure that it gets, forwarded to everybody. In the
Great, that's
meanwhile, you can sign up with Ryan.
awesome. Okay, thanks,
Yeah,
Bethany.
Mitch has, I had talked to Mitch and Bethany just to, what you were saying. He did say that he was working on that. So there'll be you could just scan it and go on and actually sign up as we have the other forms for the March 30th. You can just go on and scan. But I currently have four committed organizations, including the ROTC. So ROTC is like real big.
Yeah.
They're big in numbers. So I do have a commitment from them.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to ask about. Several years we did sign up as a group. The EAC as a group. Other years we've just gone if we could, individually. I don't know, Sarah, what we want to do.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I think it could be good if we signed up together. Maybe everybody can RSVP to me and I can let Brian or Ryan know or sign up on the form when it's ready. In tandem with that tabling at the event. I know last year we kind of like split up the day in different shifts. If we wanted to do that again, I think that's great. These two things are definitely on my calendar. I'll definitely be there. So I can send an email or a Google form or something and start that.
That'd be great. Yeah, that's, I was just gonna say, Sarah, I was one that set up the schedule, received the information for people and set up the schedule last year. So that worked pretty well. People just wrote to me and responded to an email from me, and that way we could split up the day.
Okay, great. That's what I'll do. I'll send an email to everybody and you can reply if you're coming to the cleanup. And then when you can man the table.
Perfect.
Awesome. I've seen some good.
I can also send, excuse me, I can also send a flyer out to this group, the current flyer that I have to this group, so everyone know like where we're going to be located, where we're going to be stationed at. Has
Okay.
dates and
Great.
times, and it's also in English and Spanish.
Cool, yeah. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, I've been seeing good advertisement of Earth Day that Kimberton's a sponsor and such, so really cool. I'm excited. It's always a great event.
Is there any like event like the tree planting like last year?
We are planning on doing a tree planting. Lester and I have to work out those details. We are looking for we are also like trying to select by what might be available. Our first kind of choice is doing some native fruit bearing, like shrub type trees, like a serviceberry type in the Rose Garden area like the northern part of the park, where we have some tree pits open where the Rose Garden used to be. So that's where we're looking at.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, good question, Steven. Thanks. Any other questions about Earth Day? We have Innovation Corridor Green Spaces up next. Are there any updates on that? No.
Yep.
Next we have technical assistance from the Water Center, EPEN, and University Finance Center. So I had another meeting with them and I've connected them directly with Bethany for the city of Reading and Ashley Showers for the county of Berks. I think that it's best that the technical assistance providers speak directly. I don't know if a workshop will be held with the MS4 committee. I hope that it will, but I'm not sure what they would talk about specifically. Because everybody's waiting for the new MS4 permit from DEP. And then Bethany, I know you were talking with them about different student projects for potentially the fall.
Yeah.
In like next academic year, so.
Yeah.
That'll be good. And then our annual report to city council.
Yeah, I am actually writing it. It's about half written.
Thanks, Kathy, that's awesome.
But then, no, yeah, I owe the last year. You get to 2024.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I was hoping to have it out, and then I had to go away for the weekend, which I didn't expect. I was going to have it too, but I'll try and have it out this week so everybody can take a look at it, and we can then. But I wanted to ask if we could just, if I send it around, can we pre-approve it and ratify it so I can get it sent to council and administration?
Okay.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, so Kathy, will this form the basis of our presentation to council in, I don't think we're talking about May, maybe is what,
No,
no, this is something separate.
no,
This-
we are required by law,
Okay.
by our ordinance to
Account for ourselves.
provide an annual report of our activities, of our principal activities of each year. And we do a little bit of lobbying in that, and I am expanding the section on what an EAC is and how it was authorized, and more than we have in the past, because we've got a new council, largely new council, lot of new members, and most people, including myself previously, don't really know where this comes from, whether it's part of the city, whether it's not part of the city, whether it's law, whether it's really advisory, what it is. So I'm lengthening that part, and that it turns out it was, well, I had several legal surprises in that, because it turns out we don't have bylaws, even though the enabling legislation says we should. And there were two bills on the state side, and the amendment's kind of peculiar, and it doesn't really appear anywhere in code. It just appears in the act form. Anyway, it took me longer than I expected to look at the original and amendatory language, and then the city's ordinance language. But now I've got it straight, so I know what I'm saying and what I'm quoting is accurate. Thanks to Shelley for, after the lawyer couldn't find all the documents, Shelley did. So anyway, so I'm expanding that more than I usually do, have in the past when I've done these, and then I'll put, then I go through each of the minutes from each of the meetings and pick out the highlights and themes. And then I briefly identify the priorities going forward, which I can take from our recent agendas.
Awesome, that sounds wonderful. Thanks, Kathy and Shelley, work on that. Yeah, the next time we'll present in person to council is 2025.
2025, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to do it. Well, about 5 years ago, maybe 6, we started doing it in person for council, and that became a thing where council said, oh, well, this is kind of cool. We didn't know all that. And it's kind of nice to have, and we only spent like 5-minute talk and 5-minute question and answer, but they liked it and felt much more informed, and we all thought it was helpful. So then they decided to do all the boards and commissions, ask them to orally present, but then there's so many of them that if they have one at each of their meetings, it takes like 3 years to get through them. So that's what they're doing, is having sort of one at each count, maybe once a month. I'm not sure whether it's every meeting, once a month. So it takes 3 years to get through them, because there's like 3 dozen
Wow.
boards and commissions. So that's what's happened with that. But it's good, because that's a good thing that we kind of it's an accomplishment that's pretty invisible, but by our taking the initiative and standing up and sharing it in person, they created a new process that will help, will help everybody know what's going on and what the left hand and the right hand are doing, at least a little bit in a painless and pretty condensed way.
Yeah, it's good.
I
It's
think
good
we
to
should feel
move
good
forward.
about that. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool. Thank you. So we'll look out for that.
And David started that, so we should clap for David Bean for thinking we should actually be a visible presence at a council meeting and give them an opportunity to ask us questions.
That's awesome. Shout out to you.
No, it's great. It's great that it's continuing.
Yeah. That's really cool. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. So we'll move on to new business. First up, we have a letter urging city to address the environmental educator position that Bill and the communications committee was working on. Bill, do you want to give an update on that?
Yeah, but just before that, the communications committee regarding presentation to council, we've been talking specifically with Shelley and Chris Miller about actually going to council, aside from what you've just been talking about, and just kind of updating them, kind of educating, because so many of them are new, educating them about the resolution, about the climate action plan, about the EAC in general. And we got guidance from Chris, and I think he said it's April or May that we will be doing that at some point, get on the agenda. So that's separate from this letter. It's just
And that's why I said that it's there'd be some overlap work explaining who we are, what we do, how we came to be. But the purpose on council would be more informing them about what we're doing going forward.
Right.
About the climate action plan, about trying to help the city engage residents in conversations that we've upped our hands-on kind of things that we're doing and giving examples and inviting them to participate.
Right. I mean, in part it's to inform about the EAC. In part it's to get them on board in terms of the resolution and its points, because I think at this point there's only one member of council that actually voted for the resolution. So it's keeping that stuff moving forward. But that's kind of on our back burner, but that's kind of being handled by the communications committee. But no, there's been no discussion as to who would do that or how many. So in terms of the letter, I guess I don't think we've really been discussing this most in the communications committee. So I should really, I'll be quick, but I should give it some background. There is the community educator position that you may recall that was Bethany before she took the sustainability manager position. It's part-time. I don't know what the pay is, but it's been a problem finding, retaining both qualified people, both people with qualifications and people who are going to stick around. And right now it's empty and they've had a hard time filling it. And I think it's still empty, right, Bethany? So we had some discussion about, well, I think there's been some internal, I don't want to say lobbying, but a request that that position be expanded to full-time with a livable wage, let's say. And so on the committee, we decided we would write a letter, which we composed, and we've okayed it with Kyle. This is news for everybody. I think Kyle has, I don't remember if I let people know, but Kyle Zieber, who is now the Public Works Director, is totally supportive of us sending, the dog likes it too, of us sending a letter to the Managing Director stating that position. So I think it's on the agenda because we felt that even though 4 of us are already behind it, that we should ask for the support of the whole board, so we can say that the entire EAC is supportive of this. So it's basically, and the letter just outlines why it matters, what we're up to, and why the education is not only important but apparently required by the state And so, at this point, it's not even happening. But a full-time position would bring somebody in who could be much more a part of this whole team, probably come to our EAC meetings and start participating in a fuller way. So I think I mean, I can answer questions about the particulars, but if you have any, if there are no questions, I think we're just asking that the board offers its support.
Right, and I think this letter is on page 14 of our packet from Shelley, right? Is that the most recent update?
Probably, yeah. I may tweak it a little bit.
I move that we, that we send a letter, from the EAC as an advisory board to, city administration and council, recommending that the current education and outreach community half-time position be changed to a full-time position. I guess that's the motion.
Second.
As a matter of discussion, I would just raise that, to let people know that on at least 2 other occasions, we have, that since I've been on the EAC, we have formally submitted letters recommending changes in staffing for environmental purposes. We sought a position like Bethany's to be created and sent a formal request that there be a full-time sustainability officer appointed, which eventually happened. And we also, when the planning office was destitute of planners, we sent a letter saying we really need a city planner. And please make that a high priority. And there may have been a couple others, but I just wanted people to know this is not a precedential thing that we're doing. It certainly makes sense as part of the team that we point out areas where we think the things that we're responsible to advise on could really need some staffing help. And so I just wanted to share that with people.
And I would just add one thing. I mean, even moving that position to a full-time position, we could probably use at least 1 other, maybe 2 other staff people to really do the broad bits of work that we deal with. I mean, all the other stuff. So, you know, we're creeping in that direction.
And planning still needs more help for sure.
Yeah, it's just totally these departments are so under-resourced.
And so we try and be respectful and appreciate that everybody's understaffed and everybody's doing like 2 people's work, but we'll in our area, that certainly seems a reasonable thing where you've got a half-time position that isn't very functional because it's half-time. That it almost is they should fish or cut bait. I mean,
Yeah.
either have a full-time
Yeah.
position or don't pretend you have it, because it just doesn't, it just isn't enough time to get much done.
So where we stand is we have a second, I guess.
Yeah, any further,
Yeah. Go ahead,
discussion?
Stephen.
So if there's no further discussion, Sarah, you need to call a vote, yes or no?
Thanks, David. Sorry. Does Stephen have something to say?
No, I thought you were calling for the vote. That's all.
Okay. Is everyone in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Is anybody opposed? Wonderful. Thanks, everybody. So that motion is passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for flagging that and drafting up the letter and sending it and everything. We really appreciate that. It's really important.
So Sarah, once Bill gets me his final tweaks, I'll put that on letterhead and DocuSign that over to you before.
Okay.
Okay. Shelley, I'll do it right after the meeting. And composing the letter to Kyle, I just thought about maybe just recomposing it, but I'll look at it again and see if it stands as it is.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Next on new business, we had the disposition of intersectional environmentalist books.
So when we did the first book club with the library, I ordered 3 copies of this book that are still in my office. So what would the group like to do with those books now?
Well, I bought my own copy. It's not a hard, long read. I think, I would urge people to speak up for copies and, if you
What if-
don't have it.
What
Oh,
if
yeah.
we had it as a prize to give away at Earth Day?
Aha, ah.
I like the way you think.
Because that would be a fun special giveaway. Maybe we could
Yeah.
just have people draw for it or something.
Yeah, or we could do a silent auction, raise money.
They still doing that scavenger hunt?
Carly's on.
That could be,
It could be a scavenger hunt prize.
yeah.
Except they're not, except the scavenger hunt's probably more kids, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And it's a grown-up book.
Eh,
It's not real grown-up. I mean, it's
yeah.
accessible to young readers, I
Yeah,
think.
I think that's a great idea to do something with it at Earth Day.
So I'll think on that of what would be the best way to give those away.
Oh, I think that's a great use of them.
Thank you, Shelley, for thinking about that, because we all just forgot.
You're welcome. I will not be at Earth Day, so if someone could pick those up from my office, I would appreciate that.
We can definitely schedule that, make sure that happens, Shelley. Thank you. Next, we have project updates. So we talked about our committees. Are there any other updates from the communications committee?
Yeah, there are. Let me see if I can be quick about it. I'm just gonna go through my notes here. One of the dates that Bethany did not say, and I think it's open, is the 29th, the climate
Yeah.
curriculum training.
Yeah, the date is good. Location to be determined, and I
But-
should have a location by next week.
But it's really for teachers, and any one of us could come if we want. But
Mhm.
it's interesting and edifying. On April 15th, the climate action plan workshop presentation, it's not clear what it's gonna be. Thanks to Steve, we'll be presenting it at the NAACP general meeting that month. And do we know the exact time of that, Steve? It's in the
I
evening.
saw Stacy on Friday and they emailed me and said 20 to 30 minutes, and she said we could take as long as we wanted. So
Okay, good. What time does it start? Great.
6 p.m. is the start of that meeting.
Okay.
So
And that's at 1251 North Front Street.
yes, that's
Um,
the old Belco. I can't call it that labor relations building, but because I always use the Belco branch
what-
there when I had them. Yeah,
It's
right down from Northwest.
Yeah, down the hill. Yeah. Yeah, so that's good. I mean, that's the kind of thing we're hoping to start doing. And I haven't been to an NAACP meeting in a long time, but there's a certain back and forth that was kind of happening and allowed. So this could generate into an interesting discussion if people get sort of fired up. Might be good. So that's that, and
I think one thing, Bill, sorry to interrupt.
Go
I
ahead,
did
yeah.
kind of put a bug in Stacy's ear to say, let us know like what the hot topics are regarding environment and
Okay.
sustainability is. So then that way, we may be able to, by the time we go to, the training session that we have with Bethany, that, at least going into that, we'll be a little bit more prepared. And I'll remind her beforehand as well, like, please put some feelers out so we have sort of, some things that we can focus on. So I just wanted to interject that.
So that training that Bethany mentioned on the 14th is basically to get us prepared to do these kinds of things. And Bethany has done it a number of times, and one of the things that Jasmine has been working on is taking the PowerPoint that Bethany put together reducing that from 19 to, I'm sorry, that's the buttons, from by about a third the number of slides. She's cleaning up and improving the graphics and stuff. So she's been working on that, and that will be done by the 14th. So we'll have kind of the revised version. She's preparing she'll be preparing both a 30-minute and a 60-minute version. So when we have the time, we'll use that. So I mean, we're just kind of getting materials in place to maybe do a few more of these than we've been doing. There's one of the things that Jasmine's been doing is helping produce materials, and the latest thing is an EAC trifold that is done, and it's and that, like all the other materials, on one document it's English one side and Spanish the other. So there's no
And it is currently at the printers. I sent it off this morning.
The other thing, Kathy, Bethany, and Jasmine had a meeting and worked on the website, let's say. So a number of things have been done and looked at, and Jasmine is continuing to work on pulling that together and getting it ready to go to the webmaster. So in fact, we're not having another meeting with the webmaster to talk about getting stuff to him. He will be coming to, I think, I don't know if he's going to make it to our meeting, to the committee meeting next week. And that's really I mean, it's kind of a handoff. Here it is. So the website should be greatly improved with more stuff on it, some stuff taken off, things organized. That's been reduced from 19 to 7 buttons. So it doesn't look like an overwhelming document when you go there.
So when I come up with a spreadsheet for the BMPs, will that be easy enough to populate on the website ourselves, or?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, and I when you were mentioning that, it occurred to me that this is happening. So Shelley?
We can't put anything up ourselves. It all goes through the webmaster. So
Okay.
that question, we'll need to ask him at the next meeting. He is coming to the next communications committee meeting to hash through.
Okay.
So do we understand what Ann's question is specifically?
I do. So Ann, if you get the spreadsheet together, then the rest of us can take it and get it into a form that is good for Mitch.
Okay.
So that's a good foundation, is going to make it easier to run through them. And
Sure.
But
Okay.
But the whole purpose, go ahead, Bill.
No, go ahead, Kathy.
I just say that what we were trying to, so Shelley and I met and and Jasmine, and our purpose was to make it possible to take all these documents, like the ones that Bethany's produced and that's the things that our interns have produced, but have those housed someplace where people would actually find them if they were interested. So that's the concept, Anne, is that there would be a, I forget what the buttons are, but we figured out buttons so that there'd be a place for infrastructure, and when you went to that, you would be able to choose whether you wanted water or energy infrastructure. And that's where, in the water infrastructure would be where your spreadsheet would go. And then
so we're looking for just, can we add links, Shelley? Can a link be added? No,
I can't answer any of these specific questions, and I don't work with the website. So I would recommend you just put it all in the spreadsheet and then let Bethany and I work as staff with Mitch.
what we need is the content. If we have what was said before, is that if we give him the content, he's happy to do the work to make it work, but he's not going to make content for us, which makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And our meeting is a week from Wednesday. If you want to just send me your questions, I'll make sure that we raise them with Mitch.
Okay.
You could come to the communications committee meeting.
Yeah.
No, if you want to have,
I'm working during this meeting. You can see me.
Yeah.
I'm being very rude.
Well,
Just sort of listening.
Okay. So, we've had a lot of discussions about the website, and this is another example of having Jasmine engaged, because we can, someone can pick up on it and move things forward. I mean, I think tremendous amount of progress has been made in the last couple of weeks. So at least that's the way it feels to me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I can't wait. That'll be so great for our
Yeah,
website.
so Bethany has to go. I have a couple other quick things, but Bethany, did you want to say anything about the NREL and the work with Drexel by way of the communications committee? Or you?
Well, two things. So one is we have a C2, it's a C2C technical assistance grant with the National Renewable Energies Laboratory. And what we're doing is having a typical Reading row home modeled. Shelley has been very kind and generous to send me her stuff. And also, Stephen, you need to send me yours. And we're looking at the typical average 3-bedroom Reading row home, and having things like heat pumps, exhaust fans, energy efficiency things, and energy transition technologies modeled to see what should work well, and what won't work as well. So kind of like a good, better, best. There is significant additional funding coming down the pipeline next year, for specifically for heating and cooling in Pennsylvania. So it's our Heat Pumps for All thing that we've all been begging for years. And so we want to make sure that we have good recommendations for that. So we are having 5 homes data put together and creating a model, and they will be presenting to the EAC as part of the project. I believe, Shelley, it will need to be the May meeting, so that way they can zoom in.
May we start going outside? Do you want to be inside?
Yeah, they're on the West Coast, so we're going to have to be able to zoom in, so we can do a special presentation. So that's exciting. And then tomorrow I'll be recording with a student from Drexel and professors from Drexel, who are helping us develop communication materials about the energy efficiency programs available through the Inflation Reduction Act. And Bill and I are recording that tomorrow. So that's exciting. We're getting more and more guidance, and then getting help to push that guidance out to everybody else, so that way we can all take advantage of these things. And then the last thing, since I see Dr. George and Mr. Perro from Why I'm Missing on with us, Why I'm Missing is there are residents in Why I'm Missing who are looking to start their own EAC, and so they're here with us today. And out of some of the communications discussions, we're looking at hosting an EAC mixer sometime this summer, with all of the active EACs in the county, kind of getting everybody meeting each other and talking about the different things that they're working on, seeing where we can cross-pollinate. And I'm looking for volunteers to help me plan it.
So how many other EACs are there?
Hang on a second. 12 or 14?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
Yeah. Most
Bethany,
of them are rural.
Yeah, Bethany, I can be a part of that. Berks Nature, this must be 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, had a number of these mixers, which worked really, really well. And I was a part of a number of those. So I'd be more than happy to help you plan one of the, be in the planning committee with you.
Awesome. Okay.
Maybe we could have it at the Berks Nature venue.
That is a possibility. Berks Nature is interested in kind of helping out with it. We do something similar with the watershed associations, and it works really well. And I thought it would be nice to get all the EACs together. So we currently, so it's currently Albany Township, Bethel, Township, Topton Borough, District Township, Hereford Township, Kutztown Borough, Long Swamp Township, Pike Township, Robeson Township, Washington Township, West Reading, Wyomissing is pending, and then City of Reading. So we do have more of the rural areas have active EACs, and then Reading, and then the Penn Street corridor, which is interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and it's for when I was looking at all of their websites, it does look like we're all working on similar projects. So I thought it would be fun to get everybody together and see where we can collaborate.
Maybe we could somehow like combine efforts with the signage with these other EACs.
Mhm.
I'm sure they would love to borrow some of our stuff.
yeah, I mean, we could think about all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff to collaborate on that,
Yeah, to get things out in the county,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
that-
out in the
that is-
county without, while
Yeah.
still each respecting our own jurisdictions. That's
Yeah.
great.
it's great.
This
Well,
is a great effort.
No.
Yeah.
And urge
Okay.
Dr. George and Ellen to, they're actually there to, I hope you see it through and put it together. I can think of a couple of names. People we both know, we all know.
Yep.
Suggested why I'm missing.
And West Reading, I did have an email conversation with Patrick Haig, who's the head of the West Reading EAC, and they're very interested in partnering up with the Reading EAC.
This is-
That relationship, for multiple reasons, absolutely makes sense.
Yeah,
And
Sure.
we'll be sending them out some more information as well.
yeah, this is
I
so
did-
typical. Here I've got, you know, all this gray hair, and I'm always on my soapbox about collaboration and communication and engagement and get out of your silo. And, you know, that's why I like environmental stuff, because it goes across everything. And here never occurred to me to find out if West Reading had an EAC or if Wyomissing did. Never
Right.
occurred to me.
Yeah, same.
It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
make these boxes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So this is
That'd be really
exciting.
Yeah, thank you, Bethany. If anybody
Okay.
else wants to help Bethany, please let her know. Thanks, David, for volunteering.
I appreciate that. All right. Thanks, guys. I got to run to another one. So
Yeah.
we'll talk to you.
Yeah,
soon.
I'll help with it too, Bethany.
Okay.
Awesome.
So I just had two other quick things. The Sustainable 6, which is part of the information that's going to be printed, and then it's kind of the organizing principle, let's say, for dealing with the climate action plan. There's one, the community and economic development piece is the one that's still being drafted. Once we get a draft of that, then we'll send it to people who do copy editing, all 6, and that. So there'll be literature produced, and then that will go on the website. Longer versions, shorter versions of all the different pieces. There's one on mobility, water, waste. It's a comprehensive way of explaining all the stuff that we're involved with. And one thing I had mentioned at the last meeting or two is we approved as a board to put money in the budget this year to actually bring on an intern for outreach and engagement. Bodio they've identified a couple of people. They have one person in mind that they have hired internally just a few weeks ago, and they're in the process of evaluating her as, you know, this candidate as if they think that this is something she'll be able to do. So that's in discussion, and we have asked Centro Hispano about that. Nothing's happened there, but we've asked them about doing a presentation to their staff, kind of a lunch and learn, all part of the same thing. So that's it. I mean, sorry it takes so long to do the report.
No, that's awesome. Thanks, Bill, for all those updates. That's really exciting. The policy committee, David, do you have an update?
Yeah, we had a virtual meeting, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, to discuss the status of the beekeeping ordinance. We had a representative from Berks County zoning on the meeting, which was great because it gave Kathy, Jim, and Emily an opportunity to talk with the county about just what we're trying to do, because they have a voice in this process. So the county is now adding its respective pieces to the draft ordinance, which we hope to have back shortly. And I forget, Shelley, if we've already scheduled another meeting. I think we have. I just don't recall what the date is. And if we don't have the county's piece back by then, there are obviously a number of other issues that the policy committee has been dealing with that have been on the back burner as we've been focusing almost exclusively on the beekeeping ordinance the last couple of months. So we're busy. We have a lot on our plate, but we continue to move things forward.
And I guess we mentioned too, David, that we continue to work on the shade tree issues and are trying to get together with them again.
Right. Yeah, we've just been so focused on the beekeeping ordinance that we've let some of this other stuff slip a little bit, but we're just about at the end of our input on the beekeeping ordinance. Obviously, it's still a long way before it gets to council for a formal vote, but we'll at least have our piece done shortly, that we can start spending some more time again on these other issues.
Thanks for all your work on that. I know David and Jim and members of the policy committee, thank you. Green Infrastructure Committee. I don't really have anything else other than what we talked about. The database Ann is doing, the signage, the technical assistance directly connected with Azure Showers and Bethany. All things were really covered throughout the meeting. I don't know if there's any urban agriculture updates. I haven't been able to attend any of the meetings.
No, there's nothing new. I think the last time I reported that the Ag Task Force is considering merging in and becoming part of the Berks of Barn. I don't have any additional information beyond that at this point.
Thanks, Beth. Shelley, for that reminder.
And that meeting for this month is tomorrow, by the way. Also, speaking of reminders, if anyone's
Right.
interested.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think there's one coming up really soon because I get those too from Courtney Schober.
Jim, are you attending those meetings? Are you participating in that? Is that?
I wasn't at the most recent one, but I plan to be there tomorrow, so. And I know what they're looking for. She sent out a communication telling people to get in touch with Shelley if they're interested in joining the Shade Tree Commission, so.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
another thing
They're
that
in that.
is happening over there.
I was trying to get people to sign up for that.
Definitely a lot of opportunity for cross-pollination there. Pun intended.
Okay, great. That's awesome. Invasive plants, noxious weed education.
There's nothing new or planned at the moment. We do need to pick that up again. I had an idea because something else was happening, but now I can't remember what it was. So, but I do think we should keep our eyes on that, because no one else is particularly, I don't think. But I recently read, what was, well, I'm not going to remember. I read something recently that made me think, this issue is going to be up and out again because some things are happening and we should pile on, but I can't think of where it
Was
was.
it the natural lands signage and stuff like that? For Mount
Maybe
Penn?
it was thinking of the natural land signage.
And we talked about that at our last meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think it might have been Bethany who said that they would reach out to the natural lands coordinators for the Mount Penn Preserve, right?
Yeah. Well,
Right.
I was involved in that too, and we should be that should be moving forward. And one of the things we helped them with was to go on some of their site visit and show some of the some of the issues with the invasives. That we, especially the yard waste invasives, and we need to follow up with getting both signs that identify, no, sort of city signs that say no yard waste dumping along for our parks and preserves, and that refer to the ordinance, so that's out there. As well as then signs that really identify these areas as preserves, and the land trust is going to help us with that. I think it's part of the strategic plan that's being developed.
Okay. And just running through the rest of the list, stormwater MS4 issues. Is everything okay, Scott?
We're actually fixing a lot of them, a lot of catch basins lately. We had one on Parkside Drive South that was an issue that we just repaired last week, and we also had another one at Rose, Virginia, 1404 Rose, Virginia. It's kind of a different issue. So basically, it's a catch basin on Far Place that basically only connects to a catch basin on Rose, Virginia Road. And one of the outside contractors running cable lines actually shot right through the pipe. So they dug it out for us and we made a repair on that. But other than that, not a lot going on. I mean, we also repaired another one on 1200 Oley Street. So they're going to start popping up as the weather starts to change. So like, if you guys see any, let me know. I'll get it on my list in between our sanitary repairs, because we've got lots of those as well. So we'll just keep trying to get them all.
So Scott, what's your procedure for like your maintenance schedule for like all the trash that accumulates around the inlets, the catch basins?
I know Ryan has a crew out a lot. I try to get a crew out when I can, but the street sweepers are supposed to do it. They kind of do it sometimes. Some of the drivers just skip it or kind of just raise their brushes. It's usually by complaint, because we have a small crew here. So there's only so much we can do in a day. And I mean, I would much rather get our vac trucks out to clean sanitary lines. And usually our excavation needs another, we've got 3 of them. One's currently down because it's got some holes in the debris tank. So we're working on getting that welded back together. And then the other 2, actually one just went down today. So that's at the city garage, but we use that as a hydro excavator to help with, because I mean, we're the deepest utility. And of course, water lines and gas lines are always in our way. So if there's a catch basin that's really bad, that has a lot of debris in it, and we get the complaint about it, we'll send out the combination truck to vac it out. But typically it's by complaint. They're hard to keep up with.
Yeah. Well, with the PCSM BMPs, like maintenance is one of the biggest issues, and storm drains and whatnot. But
so we have 3,800 of them, so it's
yeah,
not
right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't even get to everyone every year, so I mean, we get what we can. To actually look inside. It's when they're in date, when they're in failure, either like you see a sinkhole on the outside, like around the macadam. That's usually how we can tell that they're actually damaged and causing an issue. And that's
Well, I mean, there's an area in the Schuylkill that gets filled with debris. It's like a turn in the Schuylkill, and it's always like getting filled up with debris, and a lot of that's like plastic and so forth. And I imagine quite a bit of it comes from the storm drains in the city.
yeah, all of them. I mean, because I'll have a crew out on Cotton Street today. I could have a 2-man crew go right up Cotton Street. They could clean a bunch of bins of trash. Tomorrow it would be the exact same way. People just empty the cars and just don't care. And I think a lot of it's just education. Like, they don't realize it goes to the river. And even if we've got our little tags that we put on, they just don't. It's an education thing, I think.
So what as the EAC would you see as a viable way to educate?
Just keep doing what we're doing. I mean, that's the best way. I mean, we've got the flyers. I know that we have on the table a lot that, you know, and we've got our little stickers that we stick on the back sides of the storm inlets. But just keep
Yeah, I mean, is there some sort of like neighborhood groups that could be contacted and, you
But I
know,
think that's
like
part
a
of the,
neighborhood cleanup?
I think that's part of what we'll communicate when we have these sessions with the, NAACP and Centro Hispano. I mean, we could talk to Bethany about that and making sure that that's part of the program. That should help because if you're going to a large group of people, you know, we could focus on something like that for that reason.
Yeah, and that's why, the ad, I mean, the focus of the ad that Bethany was talking about that's being so successful is it's us. You're upset about waste and litter and trash and things being dirty. It's, you have the power to help fix that. And that
Right,
it's
and I was just
really
gonna say something.
all of us that need to do it, not some them.
Right, and it's kind of a big issue that if we want so many people to hear about it, maybe the storm drain thing needs to be a potential topic for a future commercial of its own.
Well, and
That's
you
a good
know,
idea.
Yeah.
and even sort of raise its profile, you know,
Mhm.
in terms of what we talk to the community about and get. But it seems like there's three issues, Scott. One is education. One is what's the word? Monitoring. I mean, it's just there's so many of them. You just, if you had 10 times the staff. And the third is damage that happens. So there's like three things. Not to prolong it now. I mean, I'm thinking, and Kathy and Steve can maybe the communication committee, we can take this up as a specific issue to think a little bit about some of the ways that we can be more proactive, both as the AC, but what kinds of ways can we communicate out in the community to do two things: educate, but maybe, I don't know, maybe people like Adopt a Block, they could adopt a
Well,
Right, I
think,
saw Sarah say that in the chat.
I have
and
to
was
say,
thinking
the thing
same
that I had the
thing.
most fun on Martin Luther King Day in the cleanup was cleaning out a catch basin. That was like, that really felt like accomplishing something.
well, as Shelley said, like lot of people, people should be aware that they ought to clean one out if they see one plug near them along the street.
Well, it's
And
a
I think
local issue
Ryan-
for them because that being flooded means that their yard gets flooded or their
Yeah.
basement gets flooded.
Right.
So
And
if
I
they
think
understood the
Ryan has
connection there.
I think Ryan's not on anymore, but I think he has included on the Adopt a Block, asking them to clean up the trash, but also check their storm drains. I'm pretty sure he has that as one of the things he asks people in Adopt a Block to do.
I wonder if there's some sort of fun motivation that you could get like students in the area to do their block cleanup somehow.
I honestly, that's a good idea as well, but I honestly think until somebody sees an example of someone that they know, or if they themselves were affected by the drainage problem, it's never going to sink home because they're not taking it personally. Just like any other environmental concern we have. I'm always talking about like the Canadian wildfires, like, you're coming out, side, your family can't come outside because they can't breathe. Well, why is that? Like you have to have those type of examples. Your basement flooded because of this, and they have to feel it. Why did it cost you all that money? They don't see it because Scott and his crew are going around, they're hustling every day, right? Well, why does that affect me? That's their job, right?
Right. Let Public Works take care of it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's what
they could
happens.
be
They
doing
just
so many
complain
other things.
bitterly about Public Works, and I feel, they know it's really,
It's true.
Well,
it's true.
how about we raise your taxes and we'll expand.
Yeah,
public-
I mean, they could hire 25 more people to do this, and that's all they'll be doing all day long, right?
I think some actionable items are definitely double check with Ryan Bradley and make sure that's a part of the protocol. I feel like it is, but let's double check.
Yeah.
And then like I think we have so many events coming up. I think a lot of us will be out in the community just raising awareness. I did not know when I grew up that storm drains were not trash cans. So I think that it really takes a change in our general mentality to make sure that we're not throwing trash down there, and
I
they
mean,
really
it
serve
dri-
an important
it
purpose.
drives
Yeah.
me, it drives me crazy. I saw a guy, I was coming from Lowe's one day last week, and this wasn't into the city. They just came from McDonald's, and the dude just threw this whole bag of McDonald's trash can right out in front of me. You know, I wanted to run after that guy. But of course I wasn't going to, but I just, oh my God, it's so infuriating. I don't understand it. Wherever you go,
I
there's a
honk
trash
every
can.
time.
You
I
know,
honk every
I know
time.
I'm preaching
Yeah,
to the
exactly.
choir,
You're
but
not going to arrive at any destination that's not going to have a
Yeah.
vessel that's appropriate for putting that trash in. The cigarette butts is what gets me because that goes
well,
right
that
into the
too.
storm drains.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
let's
I
definitely
honk
sort of
every time I see one fly out of a window.
use
I
our
honk at them.
relationship building powers, and just kind of connect with people when we have the opportunity. And
Well,
Yeah, really, in a
I
sense,
think-
we're all public works, right?
right, exactly.
There's
Yeah,
your bumper sticker.
Yeah, Jim, and I think that, thinking about what Steve said, I think he's right. But I think another dimension to it is that this may be something that people actually feel like they can make a difference. I mean, they can do something that makes a difference.
Mhm.
Where I think sometimes with a lot of issues, it just feels too overwhelming. You go, how am I going to
Mhm.
deal with climate change? I mean, I can't do it alone.
Right, yeah.
But it
Like,
may be part of the appeal to, I don't know. I think if you guys, the rest of the communications committee is okay with it, we'll give it a little bit of time, maybe bat around some of the ideas.
Yeah.
Does that sound like something, seems like that's where it should be?
Yeah, I think that's
like,
good.
I don't know, like some sort of competition between blocks, or I don't know, like something that would kind of make it fun.
Yeah.
They're already
Yeah.
doing that Reading beautification thing. I mean,
Right, that's.
maybe they don't have time for it this year, but next year include that.
Yeah, give an award.
Yeah.
Awesome, thanks everybody, this is a good conversation. The last thing we have, just real quick, the city-owned dam, are there any updates on that, Scott? I know we only have about 5 or 6 minutes left.
No, I really don't have any updates on that, unless
Okay.
Shelley might.
Yeah, what's up, Shelley?
Yeah, just so everyone is aware that I just sent out today the flyer about what Bethany mentioned earlier about EPA and Bernhardt's. There's also work that's going to be happening at Eggleman's Lower Dam. Council has been asked to reappropriate some funding to move that project forward a little faster than was originally.
Do we have anything on Bouchon? Because I thought that went back out.
It did. I don't have specifics, but I know that the capital manager is working on Bouchon. I just don't know where he is in the process on that one yet.
Great, thanks.
Awesome. I'm just taking notes.
Sarah, I just have one quick thing to add to that list. I mean, before we close out. I got shortly before the meeting, I got a call from Marcia Innerschitz this morning about some other thing, but she said, say hello to everybody. And she said she'd love to get involved in a committee. So, maybe the committees, if somebody's on a committee that seems an appropriate place for her, I think she wants to get involved. So,
Policy would be good,
yeah, maybe.
don't you
Yeah.
think, David?
I could just, I don't know if somebody wants to reach out to her from that committee and say that, I brought her name up, and make sure you tell.
David, do you think have Marcia on policy committee?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think she'd be real interested in, the shade tree stuff that we're working on, for instance. And she has lots of experience with that.
Yeah, really dealing with all of that in process. But I think for many reasons, her passion and her experience should be a good addition to.
Or maybe you could send her an email saying that we talked about we're delighted that she'd like to continue with the EAC, and we talked about it at the meeting, and thought maybe the policy committee might be a good fit. And let her know that David.
Yeah, I never realized how
that.
important policy was till I served on the school board. And it was like, oh, this is, this is important stuff. Like you think ho-hum policy, but it's really
Yeah.
important stuff.
Well,
Did you say, Kathy, did you say my name? Just to confirm my internet.
Yeah, I
Right, no
was
problem.
thinking that if you sent, as the chair sent out something thanking her and that we talked about it and suggested that perhaps she'd be on David Bean's policy committee.
I'm happy to do that.
and
No
you could
problem.
mention the other committees, and I rattled them off, and I wasn't sure could you remember all we have right now, but if you want, just. But that we thought that would be a great place for her. And be sure to mention that I said that she said hello to everybody.
Right.
Thanks. Okay, great. I don't know if there's anything else on the agenda. I was using my phone. Just other matters and long-term projects. Is there any other comments or updates or anything that people wanted to discuss?
Well, thanks for keeping us on time, Sarah.
Yeah, that was a really great meeting. We covered a lot. Ooh, the spring, it starts to get a little crazy, right?
Good job, Sarah. No, really.
So,
I
Thank
think
you.
I think she wants
Yeah,
to serve for
seriously.
2 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll see, one thing at a time, but I'm excited to see you all out in person and in the city throughout the warmer months. I guess, do I have to formally adjourn the meeting or do you just write that down, Shelley?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope,
Thank you all for joining us. So the next call is Tuesday, March 26th at noon on Zoom, and I'll look forward to seeing you all then.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See
Bye-bye.
ya.